10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this March 26th, 2018 evening. And Chris, busy weekend in the bodybuilding world, wasn't it?
Ridiculous. I can't even keep track.
I can't either. There was too many shows. Let me see what the last count I got here was. I was going over it. New Zealand, we had the Fit World Pro, we had the World Clash, Upper Midwest, Atlantic Coast, crazy.
They sound like hurricanes, all of them.
Yeah, they do. Mo Al-Mosawi show in New Zealand, if we have to start someplace, was very. It wasn't
because we like bodybuilding.
Yeah, well, you know what it was. It wasn't like a million people in the show, but there were guys that we never really heard of. A lot of them, at least, and especially a lot of guys from Iran. You know, I remember I got to give King Kamali credit because about 2 years ago he told me, wait till you see these guys coming out of Iran. They are going to be decimating this 212 class and doing some serious damage. He said the problem is they can't get visas to come to the U.S., but you're going to see they're going to start doing these international shows, and they're going to start cleaning up, and that seems to be the case. That's for sure. It was a very deep Iranian lineup in the men's physique, open, and in the in the 212, the men's physique and classic physique.
Kamali was right.
He was.
You know, the interesting thing is, who is hotter right now, the Iranians or the Kuwaitis?
Well, we haven't really seen much of the Kuwaitis, so I don't know. I'd have to say I think you're referring to Team Oxygen there at Gym. Well, they're not all Kuwaitis in Oxygen Gym. They're some of them are, I guess you could say, adopted Kuwaitis.
Well, the Iranians are Iranians. The Kuwaitis are like Akeem De La Rosa, Nathan.
Is Ashkenani? I think Ashkenani's Kuwaiti, right?
No, I think he's Iranian. Believe it or not.
Oh, he is.
I think he's Iranian.
I don't know.
Kamali, huh? Kamali. I'm not impressed with Kamali's career anymore after seeing all these guys. He was all genetics.
Yeah, it was genetics.
I'm kidding. He'll come on the show, go nuts.
Now, the 212 was won by Jafar Azizi from Iran. He was actually losing to Sami Al-Haddad after the prejudging.
Yeah.
And then it seems like he came back at night and sealed the deal. I looked at the pictures, and once again, when I'm not there, I don't like to really make judging calls. Sami looked like the winner to me. I don't know. What did you think about that? I looked on NPC News Online. They have the pictures.
Well, I think Sami has better. Sami's not Flex Wheeler, but I don't mind mentioning them together in the same paragraph. In other words, Sami's got a killer physique, super round pec, super round shoulder, super round triceps. He's deadly in any lineup. I think he got screwed at the Olympia 2 years ago. Big major time, the last time he did it. Mega overlooked. I think he looked great here. I'm just going by pictures, but in terms of completeness, condition, separation, clean lines are always important.
Right.
Clean lines. That's why we have, by the way, Classic, because we got away from clean lines and got bamboozled with shot up delts and tries.
The only thing I see
looks great.
Yeah, the only thing I see is this guy's got Azizi's got great legs. Oof. Crazy. Yeah. He's got the crazy glutes and thick legs, and that's not Sami's best body part. But for Sami, he's in good shape. Usually we see him a little off. He looks pretty lean here.
Yeah, no, I thought he looked great. And when again, I'm not there, so there is something for being there for sure. Period. But in pictures, Sami looks great, and I thought that if I was judging by pictures, which I would probably go nuts if I heard someone say that themselves. I would say you can't judge by pictures. I'd probably give Sami the win here. But, like you said, you look at the scorecards, and he was ahead anyway, so maybe you can judge by pictures.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to text Mo Al-Mosawi because I think he had judged. I would wonder because usually when you see a guy who's winning Okay, after prejudging. I mean, you got to really fuck up pretty bad, you know.
Well, it's not a 2-day show.
Right. You got to really screw up pretty bad for the decision to completely turn around after the prejudging, you know, unless something happened or something was missed, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, when have you ever seen a same day show, a turnaround like that? Have you? I mean, it's happened a couple times, but not like a lot.
I haven't. Well, the 20 minutes in between when Kai overcame Cedric. Oh no, he didn't overcome him. He just had a better routine. Take that back.
Right.
No, but I mean, it can happen. You know, it can happen, but it's not like. I mean, you know, Sammy's got the physique where I mean, he's got a physique. So I mean, even if he softens up between, you know, 12 noon and 5 p.m. I mean, he's still got deep separation. He's still got the big V taper, you know, tiny waist. So, you know, you're contrasting that versus the other guys, you know, might have a, quote, grainier physique, but he's blocky as well.
Right.
You know, and I guess the other guy also competed. I think it's the same guy who got ninth, I was told, at the Arnold Australia Open.
Okay. Oh,
So-
really? In the Open? Wow. Okay.
So,
I think both guys look good. I like the fact that we don't, you know, we're seeing new guys though. That to me is exciting. You know, this Jafar guy is a guy we've never really seen too much, and Sammy obviously has been around for a while. Sammy Trudy finishes third here. I mean, he's having a good year. This guy is, you know, really doing well in the 212 division, and he's not the biggest guy, but he's just got great lines. Same, going back to what you said, round bellies. His conditioning is impeccable here. I mean, why doesn't he win? Let's look at that. Why does he lose to Samuel Haddad?
technically, he could to Sammy because Sammy's
Similar
deeper.
physique?
Well, you know, he's just smaller waist and like also round. You know, Sammy Trudy is square round, and I mean that in a good sense. You know, he's got capped triceps, capped delts, square pecs, good V taper. Samuel Haddad has a traditional like flex wheeler physique, which is really tiny joints but round muscle bellies, which under good lighting and in good condition is always hard to beat. Whereas Sammy Trudy is like has a denser, probably a denser look actually, more rugged look. And you know, I mean, he's also very dangerous. You know,
Yeah. I would agree. I would agree. I'm impressed with what Sammy's put up this year because I don't think he was under the radar, so to speak. Good interview we had with him too. Now this the guy in fourth place, Babak Akbaria, I can't even pronounce his name, Hakbai Barnenia. I don't know if this is the guy Kamali helped. Kamali helped one of the guys in this lineup. I think
Another
this might be the
Iranian.
guy. Yeah, no, another Iranian guy, and he's really good. He's got a ton of muscle, ripped to shreds. This top five was probably one of the most conditioned 212 classes we've seen in a long time. You know, especially since most of them were unknown, except for the you know Sammy's known, and obviously Samuel Haddad and Samir Trudy, both of us we know both of them. There's a guy from Oman in fifth place, Haltham El Sadiq. And he looks also. He's like these guys look like they could be brothers. Some of these guys, they got freaky muscle, you know, for a 212 guy, and they're packing a lot of freaking conditioning. I'd be very worried if I was some of the top guys in the 212 division, having to face these guys at the Olympia, assuming they can get into the United States. That's the big if, right?
Yeah, well, then that's not going to happen. Get a better chance of, Stormy, whatever.
So what would? Let me ask you a question. I know you're a big Trump lover, but what would happen if the U.S. was having the Olympics here? If they wouldn't let anyone from Iran compete?
Well, yeah, you can boycott. I mean,
No, but we'd be doing the boycotting. In other words, the U.S. Iran is not boycotting. The U.S. is not letting these people into the country. So how?
well, we have the right. You know, we have the right to keep anyone out who we want to keep out.
Right. But you think they would do that? I'm saying for sporting events, you would think they would allow the athletes in.
Well, yeah, but you know that would it happen if we had like the Summer Olympic Games in Los Angeles right now? Would we let Iranians in?
That's what I'm asking you.
No, we would not. Not under Trump.
Wow, that would be severe.
We'd let Stormy Daniels' cousin in from Iran, but not
Stormy Daniels' cousin.
but not anyone else. Not for sport.
Fahad.
It's terrible. It's ridiculous because you'd have like 10 Iranians in the I mean, you get a lot of qualified Iranians. In
No,
the show.
I would like to see some of these guys. Sixth place was Fahad Hazazi from Saudi Arabia. He was also good too.
Yeah,
Good news for
right.
you,
Tremendous.
right?
Yeah, it's in great condition.
looking
I mean,
at
it was a
pictures.
deep. It was a great show.
I see these
It's
pictures.
called the New Zealand Asterisk 212 Bodybuilding Show. It's for anyone who can't get a visa. You have, to do a 212 show, you have to come to New Zealand to do.
Did you look at this guy, Fahad
Yeah.
Hazizi?
Yeah, it looked great.
No, he didn't look great. He looked unbelievable. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
even
no.
know why he wasn't in the top 5. I mean, unless something.
Thickness, maybe. I don't know.
No, he's crazy. Do you see him from the back? He's like Ronnie Coleman with the glutes. He's got a lump. You know what? He's got a lump on his right quad. You think that's why they didn't put him up there? I mean, literally, it looks like a big round baseball on his right quad. You see that?
That was probably it.
I bet you that's it. I haven't talked.
I'm
I haven't
telling you,
talked to anyone, so I don't know
we
any
should have-
gossip or anything
I
like
got
that.
Kamali on this radio show to break it down for us.
You're right. I should have. I bet. Bet you that stupid little knot on his quad. And you know what it probably is? It's probably not even an injection site. It's probably like a torn muscle or something like that. Yeah. This guy should have probably won the whole show. He's crazy. I can't even believe his genetics. Mark my words. This guy's going to be a future champion. I don't even know how he made the 212. He must be 5 feet tall, this guy. His waist is teeny. Fahad Zaid Hazazi. You think he's a Camel Crew guy? No, he's Saudi Arabia.
No, he's no. We'd know about him if he was a.
See, I'm educating myself. I'm having to learn about all these guys. I don't even know who to talk to. Maybe Kamali knows about these guys. I'll have to get him on the
Kamali
show.
can translate for everyone, so
Yeah.
right.
Very good class. Classic physique was won by Matid Vaihu. Have you seen this guy?
Yeah, he looked tremendous.
I didn't know who he was.
Neither did I. Of course, we didn't know who he is. Where's he from?
He's from Iran too. No, I'm just kidding.
I think.
He's
I
from-
think. Right.
He's from he's from New Zealand. He's a local boy. So that'll qualify him for the Olympia. That's pretty cool. Chen Kang from China. He came in second. I'm taking a look at his pictures now.
No, Dave. Go back. The Saudi guy is nutty. You're right.
Right?
Well, from behind he's crazy. Yeah.
He could be a little thicker from the front, but he's certainly better than a lot of those guys. I'm very impressed with him. Very impressed with him. Getting back to the classic physique, Chen Kang, I've never seen him compete. He looks really good. He's from China.
Yeah, he looked tremendous.
Yeah,
He
good
looked
legs.
tremendous.
I mean, a lot of Asian guys got the good legs and the good calves, but good structure, real nice flow, very fresh looking muscle. He looks like a really young guy actually too. I'm impressed with him. Third place, Kenny O'Malley, also another New Zealander. Fourth place, Nelson Lopez from United Kingdom, and Paul Vu from Australia. Fifth place. So, good lineup in the classic, and then in men's physique, Sam Andrews of New Zealand, another New Zealand guy. So you got two New Zealand guys winning. Look, you know what the advantage of having a pro show in New Zealand is? No one wants to go there. It's a freaking long freaking flight, and so you're going to get people in the region who are going to do better there. And I think the Iranians can't go anywhere, so they have to go to New Zealand.
that's what I
The
said.
only
That's
place
why I
that'll take the Iranians is New Zealand. So you got Iranians and New Zealand people in these shows, and you got a couple, Persian guys. I mean, you got a couple of, the
Asterisk 212 show, which means it's all the people who can't get in. I get, Sam Trudy can get in, and Samuel
Right.
Haddad can get
Yeah.
in.
But the funny thing is, about the whole thing is that the show was great. So
Oh, yeah, it's
it's
tremendous.
like all the guys that they won't let in are like the best guys.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the irony of the whole thing. That's the complete irony of the whole situation.
yeah, it's not like they're bad guys.
No, they're great. These guys, unbelievable. Well, congratulations to all the winners, and maybe if a couple of these, I don't think any of these guys speak English. That's the problem. I was asking Kamali if we can get him on the show. He's like, they don't speak English very well. I'm trying to see what Kamali's response to me was when I wrote that. Hold on. It was pretty funny when I said, Kamali, these guys. So he's bragging to me all the time about all these guys he's helping. I'm like, you're right. These guys are great. I said, could they speak English? He's like, no.
Well, who's he helping? Who he's not helping? I'd like to know
I'm pulling it up right now. He doesn't give me names of these guys. He just gives me the pictures. Kamali says, I said, does he speak English? Well, he's like, and so Kamali writes, as well as I speak Japanese. Not a word. 19 athletes from Iran went to Australia, and they all got jacked at the airport, he said. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. All right. Well, I'm happy to see these guys doing well. Hopefully we can find a way to get them into the U.S. so we can. I want to see the best Olympia possible at the end of the year. That's for sure. Now at the Fit World Pro Classic Men's Physique Championships at Culver City, that's John Lindsay's show. Danny Yunin wins, so he'll be qualifying for the Olympia. We're getting a lot of classic guys, a lot of classic shows this year. Danny Hester second. This guy's amazing, Danny Hester, isn't he? He just keeps competing. He won the Olympia. He's doing the big shows, and he's also doing all the local. He doesn't care. He's like, fuck it. I'm the throwback guy. I'm competing, you know. And he's doing well. He's placed in top 5 at all these shows, you know, at 50 years old, 48, 9 years old, whatever he is. I think he's a year younger than me. Unbelievable. Cleveland Thomas finishes 3rd. Marvin Cornejo in 4th, and Chris Ford, another freak, 5th place. In the pro bikini division, I know you don't want to talk about bikini, but I'm just going to mention the winners. Rafael Milagros, she wins. She'll qualify for the Olympia. Kim Gutierrez from Chile in 2nd. 3rd place, Frida Stern from Sweden. Congratulations to those champions. Then we had also the World Clash Pro Championships in South Carolina, Aiken, South Carolina specifically. God knows where that is. You would not believe the bikini lineup. There was like 38 girls in the bikini, in the pro bikini. Unbelievable. Jennifer Ronzetti wins that one. Congratulations. There's 2 pages of competitors. I can't even believe it.
Yeah, neither can I.
Upper Midwest Championships. Now I had I don't know if you knew, I had Tom Kemper, who's the promoter of the show. No relation to John Kemper from the late great district chairman of New Jersey. But Tom Kemper's been running this show since 2003. It's been an amateur show. This is the first year they put a pro division in there. And I actually guest posed at the first 2 renditions of a show, in 03 and 04. In 03, I did it myself. There was like maybe 12 people in the whole place. In 04, I came back and I actually guest posed at Ronnie Coleman that year. We had a lot of fun. I tell a funny story on the interview with Kemper about when Ronnie was sitting in Outback with me. You want to tell you, just to let you know how small Fargo, North Dakota is, and the whole state of North Dakota for that matter. There's only 700,000 people. When we went there, you know, Ronnie's favorite place to eat was Outback. So Ronnie would go, and whenever he would go to Outback, he would order 2 meals to eat. He'd order like a steak meal, and then he'd order a chicken meal, and then he'd order 1 to go. So he would, every time we would go there, he'd order 3 meals for himself. And so I said to Tom, Tom, you still eat at Outback? He goes, it's my favorite place. He goes, they closed it. I'm like, they closed it? Why'd they close Outback? I never heard of an Outback closing. He goes, not enough. There's not enough people here going to it. I said, man, you really do have a small town. The Outback can't stay open over there. That might be the only Outback that's ever closed. But
sometimes they overbuild, you know.
Yeah.
They need Coleman there training to order 3 meals. He's 3 customers in 1.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I had Courage Opara on our show about 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We were talking. He was 3rd place at the Arnold Classic in the Classic Physique. I think he took a lot of people by surprise. Just got his pro card last year. Really humble, down-to-earth guy from Nigeria originally. Super, super cool guy. He has a great story. If you haven't seen the interview, I highly advise you go back and watch it. A truly inspirational story and interesting. You know, his parents were like, I guess you could say, they worked at the embassy, and they moved to the U.S. to work in to be over here. I don't know if it was the United Nations or whatever, and they left. They put him in like military school there, and he was over there in Nigeria all by himself. You know, he's scared fucking out of his mind. You know, gunshots you hear, and he was in a very protected military school, but still, man, I'm sure as a young kid, it kind of sucked to be left there alone until finally they brought him over. But it's a great story, and I'm glad to see that he won the show, and he's got a tremendous future. You were actually saying that you thought that he could have really challenged Breon Ansley for that win at the Arnold even.
Well, I said this at the Arnold, is that he was not in very good shape at the Arnold compared to some of the other guys. And, I mean, that's just what I saw.
Right.
And to land in third and not even be in, quote, very good shape was, astounding.
Oh, yeah, in that lineup, too. Think about it.
Yeah, well, it's 32 guys. It's the Arnold. So what carried him is his flow, his natural shape, his presentation. And I was thinking if this guy was like in tremendous condition, I don't know how high he'd be. And I think, judging again on pictures, what I saw from the show, his condition was a lot better here than it was a couple weeks back at the Arnold. So
you know what he's got? He's not very big.
No,
he's not.
You don't need to be.
He's not super ripped. I mean, but although he's in condition, but he's got a great shape. He's got those freaky split biceps that you can't buy at a grocery store. You're born with those.
Yeah, tremendous. He's got the big vacuum on the front double, which makes him look big. He's got big legs.
Yeah.
Split hams. The right.
I think he's a diamond in the rough. I think he's just getting started. Totally. I think he hasn't even tapped into his potential.
That's Dave. That's perfect summation of the way I saw him at the Arnold. Is just like very rough looking diamond.
He reminds me of like a Kai Green almost, like when Kai was like 19.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kai first started.
I agree.
Unbelievable.
I mean, this guy Genetics. Could be. I just think so much better if he was just like out of his mind condition. So. He'll come. He's young.
Yeah. The guy who was in second was really good, too. Aaron Feudal.
Yeah, he was good. Very good.
I mean, front double, deadly. Another deadly front double. These guys with the shape is unbelievable. What we're now getting is men's physique competitors who have decided, hey, I want to actually pose. And we're seeing those wacky shapes now go into, this guy, you can make a case for him winning the show. Really, you really can.
Well, he has, he's got height. He's got great V-taper. He's got very good condition.
These are the guys, and this is not a knock against these guys because they're all very talented. These are the guys you see backstage, and you're like, yeah, he'll be like 10th, 10th place. And then all of a sudden they go out there and you look at them under the lights, and it's like, oh my God, what just happened?
Well, we were just talking about diamonds. When you go into the diamond store, that you look under a little special light to be able to see which is the best diamond, and the best diamond is not always the biggest one. So backstage, someone whom you might not, you might walk by and say, I'll kill this guy.
Because third place, Russ Allen is a legitimate bodybuilder. He's
super heavyweight bodybuilder.
I don't even know how he made the weight, to be honest with you. I don't know how he lost so much weight, but. He looks good, but he's got a lot of thick muscle. Like, I'm sure backstage people are looking at this guy and they're like, this guy's going to win. He's the winner. There's no one beating this guy. And then you get under the lights, and you look at that comparison shot, and these guys with the 20-inch waists, he doesn't have a shot beating these guys. It becomes the illusion game, and that's really what classic is all about. It's an illusion.
Yeah.
But my whole career was like that. I would see guys backstage. I'd be like, there's no one beating me. I don't think anyone could beat me here. Maybe that, I don't know, that guy, he's not really hard enough. And then under the lights, I'm looking at the pictures after, and I'm like, holy mackerel. What a deceptive, type of physique some of these guys got.
Yeah.
Some people just have sleeper physique. Even Chris Cook didn't look good backstage. And under the lights, he did look good, I got to tell you, People probably don't even know who we're talking about, but...
Who's Chris Cook? I'm just kidding.
You worked with him. Not when I should have beat him, but you worked with him when he won, right?
Yeah, I forget who he beat. Oh, he beat Bill Wilmore.
Bill Wilmore, that's right.
And it was in Texas, yeah.
Unbelievable. Natalia Soltero wins the figure pro over here in the upper Midwest. She'll qualify back to the Olympia. Wendy Fortino second, Sandra Grajales third. And look, they had a good show. I got to take my hat off to Thomas Kemper. Tom actually told me that he was only going to have figure, but he had I guess you could say, a dream sponsor step up to the plate, some radiologist who's just into bodybuilding and stuff like that. And he's like, I'll put up the money for the pro show. so they added classic physique too, which was great. I said, Tom, man, I'm sure every promoter wishes they got had a radiologist who liked bodybuilding and wanted to just give money to the sport. I mean, that's like a dream sponsor right there. So
we need more radiologists who want to sponsor people.
Yeah. The difference is that he probably got business from sponsoring the show.
Wasn't Susan what's her face? Was she a radiologist? Susan.
Susie Blaylock is a anesthesiologist, not a radiologist. Yeah. But,
Susan Smith. What was she?
She's also an anesthesiologist. They were actually both practicing in Alabama. Susan Smith now is in California, I believe, or no, Seattle. I forget where she said she went. Blocking it. She's gonna get mad at me if she hears the show. I forgot. She got a beautiful apartment wherever she went. It was either Oregon or it was Seattle. I'm blocking it out yet. It's my old age. In fact, I don't believe that old age takes away your memory, Chris. I'm convinced it's your children. That's what I think does.
Oh, they definitely, yeah. Well,
they siphon it off you.
My 4-year-old, by the way, I don't like to talk about my kids too much on the show, but my 4-year-old had a sale today.
He did. He's an entrepreneur already.
Yeah, I heard. I'm dead serious. You can't concentrate when kids are around. I wasn't concentrating. I heard, Daddy. He said, "You want to buy something?" And he had my stuff that he had stole from me that he wanted to sell back, including my nail clipper.
He sold your nail clipper back to you? That's great.
I bought it back from him for $1, right? So when we had ice cream later tonight, and I got the ice cream out, I sold him back the ice cream for $1, and he was pissed.
You should have sold it for $1.50, and you should have sold it. That's how you make money. See? You sell things, and then you make people believe that they have money to spend, and then you charge them more than they really have. So
he came up with that all on his own.
That's good. That's very.
I think I'm going to get him a job with Aaron Singerman at Redcon.
There you go. He'd probably be the top salesman within 6 months. That's funny. I went to see my father today, and they put him when he eats at the lunchroom there, which is like a little restaurant almost. They have it set up like. No one wants to sit with him because he's insulting to everyone, and so this new woman came in, and she's it's a memory unit, so everyone's got memory issues. She's like a Sicilian, old Sicilian woman, but she looks like my Jewish grandmother, but she's Sicilian. So they got him at the table with my father. They shaved him down, and they just left a mustache, so he looks like Marlon Brando from The Godfather. If you remember how he looked with the mustache, and my father's face is all puffy. I don't know why. I don't know if he's gaining weight or what was the case, but he looked like Marlon Brando. He really did. I told him that he was loving it, and this woman's talking to him in Sicilian, and I'm just like observing. My father's answering in English. I'm like, Dad, do you understand what she's talking about? He's like, Yeah, why? I said, she's speaking another language. He's like, She is. She was speaking Italian, like a Sicilian Italian to him. And he understood it because it just innately was in his brain. But he's like, I can't speak it though. He goes like, I understand what she's saying, but I don't know why. But I can't. So I've been just answering her in English. So she's like, then she says, she's like, Are you in the mafia? She said to my father. I start laughing, and she's like, What are you laughing at? I said, I think it's funny. I said, I thought maybe you said that because my father looks like Marlon Brando from the movie.
Yeah, he does look like.
Today, especially today, because of the way that he had the mustache going, and she's like, "No, I'm serious." I thought, I don't even know what my father said to her. He gave her some kind of Italian expression. So that my father has. So anyway, the big long story short, no one wants to sit with her, so they put her with my father, and they're perfect for each other because my father just ignores her when he doesn't want anything, but he'll talk back to her gibberish, and he'll raise his voice to her, and I actually think that she likes it. I think she enjoys the challenge of talking to my father, and actually having someone that's not afraid to answer her back. Because I think everyone else, most of the people in the place are very meek, and they don't want to, they can barely even keep their eyes open in their head.
Yeah.
My father only acts weak when he's not in the lunchroom. When he's eating, he's very alert, about his food. So,
what's he think of the food there?
I think he likes it. It looks good. It's like gourmet food. It's not like crap food. He's eating good food there. I'm like, I would eat here, certainly. And he always asks for extras. And I'm sure they have extras because there's always, a couple of people that are barely conscious that aren't eating anything. So my father gets extras, he gets just 2 desserts, He's eating well, He's eating very well. But so that was a fun day. What else did I do today? I'm trying to think what else. Oh, it's it's the 5th anniversary of Joe Weider's passing. Did you know that?
Oh, is it? Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, he
what,
died.
that's one of-
Can you
one of-
believe
one of my
2013 is 5 years ago already?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's one of my regrets, actually, that I didn't go. I was invited.
Oh, to the funeral?
Yeah, and I don't know. Sometimes you make mistakes. I mean,
Where was it? In California?
I should have went just to honor him, really, not to see. I think a lot of people went to see each other, like a reunion, and
Yeah.
that's the type of thing it was. But
You should have gone. You could have seen Sean Roden and then flown back the same day. 1-day trip.
I don't know. Yeah, it's 5 years. I was just thinking the other day.
Yeah.
I
can't
was
believe it.
wondering.
March
I
23rd.
actually think it was longer than that.
No,
So-
March 23rd, 2013.
Yeah, March 23rd, 2013.
He was born in 1990. He was actually born 10 years before my dad. My dad was 1929. He's 1990. 1990. And it would have been nice if he would have made it to 100, just so you could say, like Jack. How
yeah.
old was Jack LaLanne? Was he
I don't
100?
know. I don't know.
I think he made it to 100. It's good to say when you represent health and fitness and you make it to 100 years old, it kind of validates all the ideals that you kind of espoused your whole career.
Yeah.
Joe was more Joe had his supplement line. He was into nutrition and stuff like that too. And
He was crazy into it.
yeah. If Blackman lives to 100, it kind of will validate.
He will.
His,
He will.
Yeah, he will. He'll probably live to 150.
I know.
knowing
It
him.
might be 100. Yeah, I was just going to say 110.
He's going to be
Seriously,
walking
he will.
around
He's in great
like
shape.
a corpse. You're going to be like, this guy's
Yeah.
he's still alive?
Yeah.
You and I will be we'll be in a retirement home. We'll be like, Blackman's still fucking alive.
Yeah.
He's still drinking wine and going to the shows and owing everyone money.
It'd be like, when things come back in style, old things come back in style. The magazines are coming back in style. He's restarting it up.
Yeah, it's he's going to just republish old ones. People want vintage, MDs. Oh, my God.
Well, what they'll do is they'll say, people will go back and look at magazines in that era, and they'll say, I can't believe you could go to the newsstand and get a magazine with 500 pages in it,
Right.
even though 380 of them were ads. But
Think about what Joe Weider, though, accomplished. I mean, people probably...
Insane.
His parents
You have no
thought he was
idea.
a
It's
loser.
insane.
Muscle magazines. What... he was running things off on a mimeograph machine probably, and it was rudimentary. And to think that, hey, you think you can make a living doing this? Are you nuts? And this guy was like, fuck, I have a vision. I know I can do this. And, and I'm sure it was slim pickings in the beginning. I'm sure he was poor as shit.
You know what just came to my mind? Ask Jay. I should text him now. I'll text him now, actually. Who influenced your office? Because Joe's office was the first professional office I had been into. And that influenced later on my office. I didn't know it. It was like a subliminal.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I
Sure.
stole everything. Mine looked like a very mini version of his.
Yeah.
The desk and everything.
I've seen. You know what the funny thing was? I was at the Woodland Hills office once, and maybe twice. But every time I was there, Joe wasn't there. But I saw his office, and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was it was just exquisite. To contrast with Blackman's office, which is basically just a desk, a chair, and 4,000 journal articles stacked up about 100 feet high on top of his desk. No organization whatsoever.
I just text Jay. Who influenced your office style? We'll see if he texts right back.
I'm sure he probably will. But you don't have to like Joe Weider, and you don't have to because not everyone. Look, people hate us, and people love us. There's it goes like that. But you have to respect what the guy accomplished. I mean, him and his brother, unbelievable. They built the IFBB, the Mr. Olympia competition. They had the magazines, the supplement line, the weight equipment, lifting equipment. I mean, Weider, publications was sold for $350 million. I mean,
Yeah.
crazy. And he sold at the right time. How he knew Get Out Now. Someone, unless he had a great financial advisor.
No, somebody told me, because he specifically asked me, Dave, do you think I sold? He had seller's remorse. There's a few people who know him that will tell you that he had seller's remorse. You know, when you sell something, it's like having
Scott Connolly had the same thing for Metrics. I said, Scott, you freaking cashed out $150 million. What are you, freaking nuts?
Yeah. Well, it's your what happens is it's your day-to-day existence. You know, if you've been doing it for 40 years, going to the office and working on bodybuilding magazines and bodybuilding supplements and supplement ads and weight training equipment that's going to be made into ads that go into your magazine.
Right.
What do you do the next day? It's like, now what do I do? So what? You get the $350 million. It's wonderful. What do you do with it?
Yeah. True. But you know what?
But he sold at the absolute 100% perfect peak time. It's like selling a stock at the all-time high, but never revisit that high.
You know what the funny thing is about Joe, and I don't really know. Maybe you can. I just have this inkling about it. I don't think he lived very high. He wasn't living like a super rich billionaire, which he could have really. I mean, he was making enough money to do that. Him and Ben, they lived very humbly, don't you think?
I don't know. I never went to his house. People been to his
Yeah,
house.
but they could have been.
Like,
It could have been a nice house, but I'm just saying they weren't driving like Rolls Royces around and flying in their own airplanes, which they could have.
well, they maybe they don't want to because maybe Joe didn't want to drive a Rolls Royce because then he would say he didn't want Gary Stridham seeing him in it because then he'd want to raise.
That's old school mentality, right? That's the old school mentality. Yeah,
his mentality. I'm telling you, and I don't mean that in a negative way.
No, I understand it.
His would be don't flash because the bodybuilders will want more money. And I don't mean that in a negative way because it's his business, right? And he did pay a lot of bodybuilders a lot of money for a lot of years.
He did, and a lot of them will
but
admit that
maybe he could have paid a lot more people a lot more money. Who knows?
Sure he could have. I'm sure he could have. But the funny thing was though,
his mentality.
They both died with a lot of money in the bank. You know, him and his brother. Supposedly Ben Weider had $1 billion in the bank. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of cash.
How do you get $1 billion in the bank from bodybuilding? $1 billion with the B.
I don't know. You save everything you make. That's why.
Well, that's that. You know what?
Don't forget the IFBB sanctioned all the pro shows and the amateur shows.
I know people who are remarkable savers.
Think about this. What is it, like 300 countries in the IFBB?
Yeah, and they each pay how much? I don't know.
They pay sanction fees to the IFBB. They was paying it to Ben Weider originally. Now they pay it to Raphael, but they were paying it to Ben Weider. And Ben Weider was collecting all this cash. How many shows in each country every year? I mean, add that up. It's a freaking ridiculous amount of money, which is fine. They started the whole thing. It's like a pyramid scheme. It trickles down. It starts with the owner, and it trickles down to the promoters.
Amway. It's like Amway.
Yeah, exactly.
You bring Spain, Portugal, and Egypt, and under them is, 4 more countries: Saudi, Lebanon.
I got an explanation. I got an explanation from Mo Al Moussawi about the New Zealand Pro Men's 212. Remember, I said I'm going to ask him about why Jafar Azizi beat Samuel Haddad, especially after he was losing after prejudging. And he said that Jafar got tighter and dominated everyone, especially on the back poses at night. So that's your reason why the decision was flipped at the finals. So
Sammy would have a little smirky smile and say, "I'm sure he's listening to this show. That is bullshit. Everybody says I am in tighter also. Everybody, even the people from Iran. I swear about it. On the truth, and everybody." And Chris, my shape is better than everyone's. You use Flex Wheeler's comparison. It's true, though. I mean that in a compliment.
No,
how tight?
It is.
I mean, how many hours? What do you do?
Who knows?
Way tighter in the next 4
like
hours.
Like these guys, they go to the Chinese buffet.
And they fill.
I'm like, Steve, no one's going to the buffet after prejudging. I'm telling you, I see them there. No. Sammy, if you're listening, did you go to the buffet? If you went to the buffet, shame on you.
You know what, Sammy, can you text someone and let them know that? I bet Sammy will say this. And I bet it's true. I was tighter at the night show. I always get tighter at the night show.
I'm sure most people do because you keep drying out over the course of the day. I mean, no, unless you really go into the buffet, like Bleckman said. I don't think you can really fuck it up pretty much. Most people get better at night. I mean, I could see you getting flatter at night, but who knows? Look, Mo was there. Center. He judged. He signed the judge's scorecard. That's your answer right there. I just gave you the answer of what happened. All right, another little news story that I think you'd find interesting. Lonnie Teeper has bed bugs. Did you know that in his apartment?
No, Lonnie, well, you're doomed for life, Lonnie.
Susie Blaylock actually tipped me off on that one.
Paul, your guy from Phoenix, sent me the bed bug. I haven't used it, but he sent me the nuclear bomb.
I know you might have to send something to Lonnie Teeper.
I haven't even used it yet because I'm using it as it's like a nuclear bomb.
All right, here's the post Lonnie put on Facebook. Bug off. Yep, the bed bugs returned. I'll bet not nearly in the amount of the first attack back in November. So I got to get my apartment prepped for the exterminator Monday morning. Heat treatment. Didn't use heat last time. It's not cheap, but according to what my experts say, it's the most effective. And then he writes, how do you get these little buggers get in your home to begin with? And then he gives the whole, it can be a variety of ways. It can come from the neighboring apartment, which is probably where it came from.
Yeah.
We picked up at a 5-star hotel, picked up at a classy restaurant, picked up at a movie theater, at a gym, in your luggage. Can't pinpoint to how it... Maybe he got it at the Arnold Classic.
What type of treatment did he have before?
I don't know. They probably just spray it, I'm sure.
No, it's chemical. I still believe in the chemicals. I've heated in chemicals.
He's been in the same apartment for 30 years. Can you believe that? Never saw a bed bug, he said, until last November.
Is he getting bit?
He must be. Who knows? He said, hope the old adage, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen or something like that. Anyway, holds true in this case. What was your most effective method? Heat?
No, I thought it was the heat, but I made a mistake. It's the chemical.
Chemicals, yeah. Chemical warfare is the way to go.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, you just go right to the DNP.
DNP the whole apartment. That's right.
You do the chemicals, but you gotta just chemical it. You know what?
Isn't there some kind of like lizard that might eat like bed bugs you can just release in your apartment?
Do you know how many times even my kids said, "Can't you just come up with some like little like bug that eats the bed bug?" And I'm like, me and Dave Plum will go on Shark Tank then if that's the case.
Let's get some like geckos or something like that. We can breed some geckos and you should release like 1,000 geckos in your house that'll eat up all the bed bugs. But then you got to figure out how to get rid of the geckos. But they're not really harmful, you know.
Yeah, you know what's so easy to get rid of? People say, I have roaches. It's like, oh, don't worry. Exterminators can demolish roaches no matter. You could have a zillion roaches.
And roaches live through anything, but you would think that they'd be able to kill the bed bugs, too.
Yeah, no, you can't. If the bed bugs is...
That's a reason not to ever want to go to another hotel again. Holy mackerel. How terrible.
I worry about...
Lonnie, I pray for you. I pray for you, Lonnie.
Yeah.
I really do. All right, next weekend we have this... upcoming Indie Pro, which seems to be turning out to be some freaking hell of a show, huh?
Yeah.
Why do you think this show is so crazy? It's like a New York Pro.
There's no Iranians here, so everyone dares to jump in.
Unbelievable.
There's a 212 and an open show.
Yeah, the open. Aaron Clark is doing his first open show here. I'm going to see him making his debut. We haven't seen him for a couple of years. You know, he was a 212 guy, very successful.
Yeah.
Moved up to the open, took a couple of years off. Roman Fritz, our good friend who I know listens to the show from Germany, will be there, and I'll be rooting for Roman. Roman's my adopted son, and I think he's going to shock a lot of people there. People are going to be very, very surprised how good he is and how much he improved from last year. I know Dave Kalick would want me to mention Dorian Haywood because he's been sending me pictures of him, and he looks really good. He's in that lineup. Are you helping Ken Jackson?
Not for the show.
No, not for the show. Okay. Steve Kuklo in the lineup, who's impressed the hell out of us at the Arnold Classic. Blair Money, who's always dangerous.
Yeah.
Luke Sando, I'm assuming you're helping him.
Yeah.
Justin Rodriguez, who also impressed a lot of people at the Arnold Classic. Fred Biggie Smalls, and Hide. So I guess Milos will probably be there. I'm sure, loading them up. Yeah. A lot of people told me Hide looked really good in person. Because I thought he looked a little watery, and everyone's like, no, it's the camera in person.
Yeah, well, that's why I said, I backtrack and say, I went with Samuel Haddad in pictures, but, you can't necessarily go by pictures. I mean, I've been to shows where people, right, their condition, I just told someone this. They said, my condition was way better than the winners in the show. I said, of course it was. Yeah. He said, how come it doesn't show in pictures? I said, because it's pictures.
Yeah. Are you helping? I see Joe Mackey's in the lineup too. You helping him?
Joe Mackey too. Yep.
How's he looking? He's a crazy looking guy too.
Remarkable.
I think this is going to be a great show. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
even predict who might win this show. That's
Neither
how
can I.
crazy.
Neither
it
can I.
is.
Neither can I. It's a toss up. Just hope no Iranians show up.
They won't be able to make it into Indianapolis. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
that's right. That's right. They can't get to Indiana.
Unless Milos is smuggling him in a suitcase somehow, which could be that could be Milos's next endeavor. You know, smuggling the Iranians.
Yeah.
They'll have like these. They'll have to ship them over in big ships. They'll have to put them in these big crates. That they'll have to have a porta potty and a huge refrigerator in there. That's it. So they can eat and poop the whole time. The whole trip over here. Now the 212 is looking really good too. I have to tell you. Ahmad Ahmad in that lineup.
He's a very good bodybuilder.
Michael Ergis making his comeback again.
Oh, he looks great. He looks great.
Does he?
by the way. Oh, yeah, tremendous.
Where'd you see him?
Raymond.
Oh,
Jose
okay.
Raymond sent me a picture. He looked tremendous.
Darren Hollywood Glenn, who's if he ever shows up in shape, will do some damage. Silvio Samuel making his comeback. I've been
Is he
seeing
in the
pictures of
212?
him. Yes, he is. He was. I mean, at least that's what he's slated for. He's been working with Charles Glass.
Roden says he looks great.
Yeah, I saw pictures of him. He was fucking nuts looking. Just like he looks. Just like he. I mean, he was in jail for a few years. What did he punch out his girlfriend and the girlfriend's mom or something like that?
Where'd you see a picture of him, Dave?
It's on Facebook, or maybe it was Instagram. I saw, or maybe both. I saw pictures.
Roden said he looked crazy.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that was a month ago.
Very impressive. Mitchell State's in that lineup as well. Very dangerous guy. Young kid coming up. Did really well last year. So I think we're going to see a good 212 class too. I'm really curious to see how Silvio Samuel does. I haven't seen his legs, but his upper body looks ridiculous. You know, he's not a young man anymore. He missed a lot of years away from the stage. Yeah. I'd love to get the interview with him. I have to reach out to him.
Ask him what he thinks of Sean Wright.
Sean Ray probably is the one who fucking called the cops on him.
No, I think he was happy that he was in jail.
Oh, did he? Yeah, he probably was. But now he'll be his best friend. Oh, you served your time, yeah. And there's a pro bikini division as well there. So that's if you want to get tickets or any show information, you go to Dave Bowers, BOWERS Productions.com. That's Dave Bowers Productions.com. He's the promoter. So congratulations on. I should say good luck to all the competitors this coming weekend at the Indy Pro. Ed Connors contacted me the other day. Remember, because we've been talking about him. He always listens to the show, and he said that I think I told you. I don't know if I told you this. He was he was blown off by Wesley Vissers.
Mm-hmm.
Wesley Vissers, I told you, was the guy I had on the show, who's from the Netherlands, the classic physique guy who won that UK Pro Qualifier. And I remember we had just jokingly said, "Oh, I can't believe Ed hasn't contacted him."
Yeah.
Ed did contact him, but he never got back to him. And evidently, Ed's explanation was that Barry DeMay was coaching him.
Oh.
And Barry, for some reason, was involved with a different organization, and then he came back to. I don't know what the case may be. So that there was a. I said, I said to Ed, I said, but you know Barry well. He goes, yeah, Barry used to stay at my house. He said Barry was living in California until he crashed his Porsche on the I-10.
Oh, that's right. Right, I remember.
Holland. After that, he couldn't handle the LA lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah, no, the LA lifestyle was too much for him. It was like too. He would have been better bodybuilder training in Europe for sure.
Too overwhelming. Now there was an interview with Phil Heath called "The Life of a Seven-Time Mr. Olympia and the Future of Bodybuilding." It was on this Valuetainment YouTube channel. I guess they do real interviews with people. Unlike me, I'm a fake interviewer. But these guys, they interview like Mark Cuban, and there was a bunch of other things, other interviews they do. And someone sent me a link to it, and I was listening to it, and he says basically on the interview that, no one can touch him basically. Assuming he doesn't get hurt, okay? Because anyone can get hurt. Mark Cuban even said, his team's one ankle sprain away from not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But assuming Phil is healthy, Phil says that there's no one who could beat him right now. No one's even close. These guys are all vying for second place, basically. And he said, "Look, the proof is the last 3 years had a strangulated intestine. I had a hernia, and I still won unanimously 3 years in a row. And you can't really doubt that, I guess. But do you think he's that dominant right now, going into this year's Olympia? or is he just trying to project confidence?
No, Phil is mostly fairly dominant.
You give me like a Jay Cutler answer now. Yeah.
Well, the fact is he's dominant in this sense. He beats everyone every year.
Yeah.
But he's not dominant. I'll tell you, dominant bodybuilders were Coleman. For a while, Jay was a very dominant bodybuilder. Dominant means standing in the lineup, the show's over. And that usually comes from being a bigger man, height or width. Coleman had height. To a large degree, he had width as well. Jay obviously had width. I'm talking just in the lineup. Coleman had total freak factor. Jay at times had total freak factor in the lineup. Where Phil puts people away is it takes a little bit longer. You know what I mean? So
right, because when he's standing in the lineup, he doesn't look that dominant, right?
That's right. And even in the quarter turns, he looks good. The front double, he looks good in it. He's not dominant. He looks very good in it. Front lat spread's like a wasted pose. Side chest, he's really, really, really good. It is. His front lat spread's terrible.
Yeah. Because he's not wide. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just his waist has gotten wide. I don't think. I mean, well, maybe he would, defend his front lat spread, but I don't think anyone else would say he has a great front lat spread. But he has great side chest, great side tricep,
back poses,
great back shots, great most muscular. So it takes him a while to dominate you, but when the dust settles, you could probably say, based on all the things that we look for: condition, size, fullness. Lastly, because it's not classic, flow, which is why we have classic. Second time I've said that tonight. He ends up dominating people.
I agree.
I mean, you put it this way. Who dominates him?
Yeah, no one.
I mean, by opposites, things are known.
Well, Rami should dominate him, but he doesn't because he doesn't come in shape.
He's not in the level of condition.
Yep.
And he's tried it both ways. Has he been in tremendous condition? He's been in either very good condition, tremendous condition. He's been gigantic. And Phil still puts people away. I think it's getting harder for Phil to some degree to put a Rami away.
It'll be interesting to see after this hernia surgery he had and whatever that he had going on see how he looks. If he looks that much better, that if he does, if he really does, and he's telling the truth, then I think he will. I think he's not lying. I think he will be very, very dangerous.
I mean, he's done it 7 times. So how can you say that's not dominant?
Right. Oh no.
It's just that he's
consistent.
Yeah.
It's the consistency issue.
I don't think we think of him as a dominant, again, like Dorian was still able to dominate over Flex when Flex was at his best. Because he was, what I mean? Just a bigger guy.
Yeah.
I think that's how we define dominant usually, by, the bigger guy.
Look, I like his level of confidence. I think people, some people take it as arrogance, but I really don't. I think it's just him being confident, and he's projecting, hey, this is who I am. This is what I've accomplished. These guys got to prove to me otherwise that he's beaten everyone. I mean, who hasn't he beaten?
The way you know that it's
he retired Kai essentially. I mean, if you want to look at it from that perspective,
of course he did.
Mentally he retired him. He didn't physically retire. He mentally retired him.
The way that it's hasn't progressed into arrogance is simply that he hasn't slipped.
Right.
So it's confidence and not arrogance, because if there's arrogance, then you end up slipping and coming in like off. I mean, he's only had like a couple shows where he's been like, offish, prejudging or, off quote for him. 2015 was the last time he came in off. And he was very vulnerable in that show, and that's been like the last time. So, if he was arrogant, you'd say, 2018, when he turned from behind, he wasn't as sharp as he's been.
Right.
Or 2018, on the side shots, his hamstrings weren't as tight as they've been. Then you could, make the dig that confidence has moved on to arrogance. But I don't think that's fair. I think it's confidence, and people can take it as arrogance.
It was a good interview. He talked about how he was working in, he is a Division I basketball player in college, and he had I think he had 2 degrees from college, and he was working at Bally's because he really liked training people, and he learned how to, he was running, I guess, the gym essentially, and people, he said he would make shakes for people behind the scenes, and they would like make fun of him, these people, like he's a loser. This is when he was 23, and he's like laughing to himself. He's like, I am learning how to run a business, basically. I'm doing everything for this business. I'm learning just how a business runs, and it's the greatest, really, and even though I'm not getting paid a lot, he goes, it's the greatest training ground for me for the rest of my life. And these people, arguing with me over me not filling up a shake cup enough, or something like that. It was funny. It was interesting because it gave a perspective that he probably was really put down a lot, and probably wasn't that confident in himself at the time, but he knew in his head that, hey, this is only a stepping ground for me. And I got to be honest with you, he's always the kind of guy that whenever you would see him at these Olympias and when he wasn't winning, he was always like, look, I know I'm the future of the sport. I'm just taking my time and I'm going to get there. And he did. He really did. I mean, he did. He didn't. A lot of times we hear, oh, this guy like Rami's going to be the next big thing, and it never gets it never happens. Phil really did fulfill the prophecy, so to speak.
Yeah.
Of him being the next Mr. Olympia. Not only just next Mr. Olympia, the next dominant Mr. Olympia.
His Jeremy turning.
What did he say?
He said, "What do you mean?"
He thinks you're asking him a trick question. That's why. That's funny. He doesn't understand. He doesn't get the fact that you mirrored his.
What inspired your office? Did you fashion it after someone?
See what he says. This weekend also coming up is the St. Louis Pro Jack Tony show. They're going to have 1 million divisions, as always. Women's bikini, figure, physique, masters 40+, masters bodybuilding, men's classic, women's physique, bikini, figure. I guess that's all the masters division. So they have the open bikini, figure, and physique. And then then they have obviously the NPC division. Jack, I've been to that show many times. Jack puts on a great show. One of the best promoters out there. Governor's Cup, another Lindsay show, pro bikini, pro men's physique, along with the rest of the NPC division. So that's going to be this weekend too. And of course, we mentioned the Indy Pro before. And we have a Pro 212, Pro Classic, Pro Men's Physique, and the amateur division at the, what show is this one? This is the South Pacific Championships. IFBB South Pacific. That's going to be in in Fiji, Chris. Did you know they were having a Fiji Pro?
Oh yeah, I did know that.
I didn't know this. Someone told me. I must have blocked it out.
That's the asterisk too, so all the Iranians can go over there too.
Yeah, but there's not that many divisions here. Let me see.
No, but they have it in 212. That's right.
Oh, they are.
12. Yeah. No, because they had asked Kamal.
I think this is not. I think this is what's his name's. This is Mo Mosawi's show too. I think he's running this one. Good for Mo. People think New Zealand's like another world. Over. I love it.
It is another world.
Yeah, it is. But it's.
I haven't heard back from Jay yet.
No, he's because he thinks you're asking him a trick question, and he knows you're going to talk about it on the air.
Yeah, well, I said I'm doing the radio show now. I said, did anyone inspire you? I said, you have someone else's persona. We're talking business. Somehow your name came up. Of course, only yours. He still thinks that's it.
You think you're asking him a trick question? I'm telling you.
No, he's going to play the cards tight. He's afraid I'm going to I don't know.
He doesn't want to give out any information because he doesn't know the exact topic we're talking about. He's like a lawyer. He hasn't gone through discovery.
Well, he knows that you and I will analyze his answer, so he wants to make sure he gives us the right answer. That's why, which I respect. Look, it's going to be a busy weekend for sure. Let me see what else I have. Oh, you know what? Remember we were talking about how older guys can't develop legs or have problems with legs when we were talking about Levrone?
Yeah.
By the way,
Mike Ergis has no problem with legs.
No, I know he's an anomaly. But by the way, the Levrone interview that we had with him this past week was off the charts, crazy, and people loving it. He peeled off. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to go watch the Levrone interview. It's called The Real Levrone, And I didn't even know he was going to do this. I always get Kevin to do crazy shit. He's like, "You want to see what I look like?" I said, "Yeah, of course." And he took off his shirt and he was posing, and he looked 1,000 times better than he did on stage. I said, "Kevin,
maybe he had the 2 pizzas,
Yeah.
Yeah, you say that with people, right?
Well, he was, the excuse he gave us as to why he wasn't lean enough on stage. Not that might have changed. I don't know if that would have changed his placings, but he didn't. He was afraid to take diuretics because he said he was traveling alone, and he was like, "Oh, what happened? What if something happens? I have a kid. There's no one there to watch me." So I said, "All right, well that's good, but why did you take the diuretic when you got there?" He's like, "Well, I figured it was too late already." I said, "You got there 2 days before the show. Who takes diuretics anyway?" Because I guess his usual protocol would be like if he was going to travel on an airplane, he'd take a diuretic before he gets on the plane. That was always his protocol. And he doesn't. I said, "Why didn't you do the old Livroni cocktail? Where he would drink coffee and alcohol together?" He's like, "I don't."
Booze and diuretics was this thing.
He doesn't drink anymore. He stopped drinking. So
Yeah.
he was like, I didn't know. And then I figured it was too late when I got there, and I hadn't slept for 3 days, and I couldn't sleep on the plane. So, sometimes I said, Kevin, that's a long flight. You're not a young guy. I think you just got beat up by the flight, really, is what happened. He's like, I think so too. I said, you look good now. New York Pro's right around the corner. I said, you should jump in there. I think I almost had him convinced. Because even his legs looked better when he was posing them for me. I mean, they weren't huge, but they were certainly separated really well. But then again, webcam posing is a lot different than posing on on a stage, in front of an audience.
Well, it's always hard to. It's hard to peak and travel that type of distance.
Put it this way, we got a first-hand exclusive look of Livroni at his house, looking probably the best he's looked since 2003 or 4, whenever the last time he competed was. He hit one of those Livroni side chests, he does the most muscular, 3/4 most muscular. I thought I was back in the old days. I mean, he looked really good. He was big. His upper body's huge. He's got abs and a small waist. So he does look good. I'll give him that. It was a good interview. I think people will enjoy it. We had a few good interviews this past week.
Maybe he can have a couple kids and then they'll.
Well, he has. I think he has a daughter. I think that's what he said. He has
I
a kid.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he has a kid. I did a rant on the purpose of life. That's what Sid named it. What your purpose is in this world, and a lot of people seem to be rallying
to buy stuff.
Yeah, to buy stuff. A lot of people seem to be rallying around. So I think I'm gonna do some more of these life lesson rants because I think people enjoy that.
Yeah. What did you summarize in one sentence?
Well, I said, your purpose is to give away your life. Basically, is to do for others. That's when you get the.
That's why I quizzed you. I didn't know the end. I didn't listen to the rant, but I was going to quiz you. That's why I gave you the opposite. I said to buy stuff. I was being facetious.
I know you are. Yeah, I know you are.
But
that's why I left.
I would 100% agree is to help other people.
You got to give away. That's the only thing you can. That's the only thing that's going to
That's how
truly
you get.
give you gratification. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with making a few bucks while you're doing it. That's okay.
To take.
Yeah. Well, some people think that's what it is, to get as much as they can from other people. We know people like that. I don't need to mention any names. I also had Vince Taylor on this past week. Great interview. We flashed back to the old days. He's talking about, his bodybuilding, and then we also talked about his new, the grips that he has his own little set of grips that he sells, the Vince Taylor grips, and they're pretty damn good. He actually sent me a pair about 5 years ago, and then he kind of dropped the ball on them. And I said, Vince, this is a freaking gold mine product. How come you're not selling these things? He's like, I know, I got to get back into it. So, watch the interview. Really, really good interview.
Oh, I get the J answer.
Oh, what did he say?
I'm telling him I guess Weeder.
Oh, really? So he knew it. He got it right.
I said, no, I didn't. No, I said, did you fashion your office? After someone else's you saw it. He said, no, I just wanted something grand.
Oh. He probably unconsciously doesn't even know that he fashioned it after.
Wait. Did we just not talk about dominance?
Yeah.
He said, the cherry wood was something I looked at as dominant.
His office might have been nicer than Joe's. Did Joe have cherry wood in his office?
Joe had, yeah.
The difference is Jay's got real cherry wood. Like most people who have cherry wood have like that.
They have
that
laminate.
pressed,
they have
laminate board.
melamines.
Yeah, just right. Just
No, he has
painted.
wood.
Painted. like that.
No. Jay's office is like
Probably
no,
cost him,
it's like Joe's
cost him $50,000 to build
Well,
that office.
I should ask him.
Yeah, ask him. Say Dave wants to know how much it cost. Just out of curiosity, I'm thinking about redoing my office in Cherrywood.
He said, I wanted to have the best walls of any Mr. Olympia champ ever. I said,
Ronnie probably has his Sandows on on his his kitchen table. I'm sure.
yeah.
Haney probably has a nice little showcase for him. I'm sure.
Yeah, but Jay's is, you know what Jay's is like? It's like a museum.
Yeah, no, I know it because it's so nice. But you know who has nice trophy cases for all their medals and honors and that they've gotten? Bob Goldman. He buys them by like the truckload. He has so many freaking. Every weekend he's getting honored somewhere around the world. I said, you're constantly on an airplane going and getting awards at places. He's like, he goes, that's what happens when you get to a certain stage of your life. I said, Bob, I'm 50. I haven't gotten one award yet. I said, I don't think I'm getting anything.
Yeah, Jay said he keeps everything in one room, so no one would know who lived in that house. You saw that room only.
Right. Well, that's good. He limits it then. But it's a pretty big room he's got.
Well, it's a big house, so it's a small. You know what I mean? But it is a big room. It's a very big office.
Yeah, I've seen it on video. But
Yeah.
no, he did a beautiful job with that room. I'm kind of envious of it a little bit. But he's got a lot more trophies to hang up on his wall than I did. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I threw a lot of my trophies out. So,
Well, he's got the trophies. He's
Well,
got
he's
the
got-
covers.
right, but he's got like good stuff. Like I have like the New York State champion, NPC overall champion. He's got like the Mr. Olympia 3 times and 3 Arnold Classics.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying about guys losing their legs.
Yeah.
There's a study someone sent me after we talked about that just came out recently. And researchers say that they may have worked out why there's a natural loss of muscle in the legs of people as they age, and that it's due to the loss of nerves. So in tests on 168 men, they found that the nerves controlling the legs decreased by about 30% by the age of 75. So as you get older, you're losing nerve pathways. This made obviously the muscles waste away, but in older, fitter athletes, there was less of a chance of that being the case. They published their research this recently in the Journal of Physiology. As people get older, their leg muscles become smaller and weaker, leading to problems with everyday movement, such as walking upstairs and getting out of a chair. Bodybuilders, we're not worried about that. We just want to be able to squat 600 pounds. But yeah, I guess that would affect that too. It's something that affects everyone eventually, but why it happens is not fully understood. Professor Jamie McAfee of the Manchester Metropolitan University said that young adults usually had 60 to 70,000 nerves controlling movement in the legs from the lumbar spine. Ronnie might have a lot less than that, but his research showed this changed significantly in old age. There was a dramatic loss of nerves controlling the muscles, 30 to 60% loss, which means they waste away, he says. The muscles need to receive a proper signal from the nervous system to tell them to contract so we can move around. Let's see what else they wrote here. They used MRI studies to determine these nerves. The good news is that healthy muscles have a form of protection. Surviving nerves can send out new branches to rescue muscles and stop them from wasting away. This is more likely to happen in fit people with large, healthy muscles. All right, well, there you go. There's a good explanation right there. As we age, we lose nerves. So you lose nerves, you can't contract the muscles as good, you're going to lose muscle size. And even though bodybuilders probably can move better than most people because we do train, we're just not going to have the mass on our legs. And another one of the wonderful aging problems that happen as we get older, right?
Well, you can go to the tourniquet training just in case the
Right.
nuclear.
I bet you that's why people tear muscles when they get older too. I think that they don't, the muscles are not as strong, so they think they can still lift the same weight they lifted when they were, you know, 25, 30, and it's just not the case. There you go. Everyone's always asking me for answers. I got answers now for you guys. Hopefully that clears up a few things. And I wanted, before we leave today, because we're running to the end of the show here, I have a quote of the show. Here it is. Your choices of action may be limited, but your choices of thought never are. I'll read it again. Your choices of action may be limited, okay, meaning you might not be able to get a job or anything like that, or you might be able to, you might not be handicapped some way, but your choices of thought never are. So you could always think and envision whatever you want, because remember, your thoughts become your reality.
Well, didn't your mother ever tell you to think before you act?
Yeah, but I don't think that has anything to necessarily do with creation, but But you
Well,
know,
I mean, I know, but you can take foolish actions without thinking as well.
true. But like people always say, well, I can't do this because I come from a poor background, or I can't do this. I can't be an Olympic athlete because I have a damaged foot or something like that. Yeah, so your actions may be limited, but how you think is never limited. So you ever see these people that overcome these incredible obstacles? You're like, how the freak did this guy overcome this? Because they believed it. And I think that you got to believe in what you want. Don't let other people, because people will tell you, oh, you got bad genetics for arms, or you'll never be a great bodybuilder. Don't listen to people. Just focus on what you want. Because remember, you get what you want you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. That's the truth, and that's the old Wayne Dyer, saying that I love. And if you think about that again, you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. So if you think about stuff that's negative and terrible, and you're always worried about all these terrible things happening, they're probably going to happen to you because you're going to make them happen to you. You're going to create that. Think about what you do want. Don't think what you don't want. And on that note, we're out of time until next week. Remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
The truth hurts.
good night, everyone.
Call 911 now!